Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with coverage of round 7 of the 2017 Sinquefield Cup. In this video I will show you the game between Viswanathan Anand and Jan Nepomniachtchi. Let's get into it. White Anand, black Nepomniachtchi played on the 9th of August 2017. E4, C5, the Sicilian, both players have a lot of experience with this opening. Knight F3, D6, D4, C takes, Knight takes, Knight F6, Knight C3 and A6, the famous Najdorf variation, played by all the greats in the game, Bobby Fischer, Garry Kasparov. And also these two players have a lot of experience with this opening. H3, E5, Knight DE2 and H5. That move is to stop white pushing G2, G4 straight away. Bishop G5, Bishop E6. The battle for the D5 square has begun. Anand voluntarily takes on F6, and that is of course to get control over the D5 square. That knight was covering D5. Queen takes F6 and Knight D5. White has now good control over D5, which he can increase even more, but black has the two bishops, which may become important later in the game. Queen back to D8, Queen D3, Knight D7, white castled queenside, G6, King B1, Knight C5, Queen F3, Bishop G7, Knight EC3, another piece looking at D5, and B7, B5 from Nepomniachtchi. Now Anand plays his knight from D5 back to E3. He wants to put his other knight on D5. He does not want that knight to be kicked away by B5, B4. And the knight on E3 does a good job in controlling the F5 and G4 squares, which are important. Black castled, Rook G1, preparing G4, and an important move for black, Bishop H6, improving the range and activity of this bishop. Anand, as planned, played his C knight to D5, and Nepomniachtchi took on E3. Queen takes E3, Rook C8, Bishop E2, King G7 and F4. G4, that looks logical with that Rook on G1, may be answered by H4, and then it's difficult, almost impossible for white to open that G file. So he played F4. Bishop takes D5, Rook takes D5. Now white has great pressure against the D6 pawn, but black has a half open file, the C file, and the knight looks stronger than the bishop in this position. It's about equal. E takes F4 from the Nepomniachtchi. Anand took back and Rook E8. Now Anand took on D6, Queen E7, E5, Queen takes, Rook takes, and Bishop F3. So far this has been a very correct game from both players. The position is equal and it's not a very exciting game so far. Knight E4 from Nepomniachtchi decides to give up the A6 pawn for entering with his rook on the 7th rank. Let's see how that worked out. Bishop takes E4, Rook takes E4, Rook takes A6, and there comes the rook on the 7th rank, Rook E2. On the 2nd rank for white, but the 7th rank for black. C3 and H4, an instructive move. That pawn holds up the white G and H pawn by himself. The rook on E2, the powerful rook there, gives black enough compensation for the pawn he is down. Anand played Rook A5, and this is a big moment in the game. Here Nepomniachtchi should have played rook b8. And then Anand said in his interview afterwards that he would then could have tried rook a3 with the idea rook b3, rook b4. But then Nepomniachtchi can play rook d8, and after rook b3, rook d5. And Anand said followed by g5 and f5, and then f4. And Anand said that Nepomniachtchi claimed that he can never lose this, even though he's a pawn down, as his pawns are much quicker than white's. And Anand said that Nepomniachtchi was probably right about that. Garry Kasparov joined the live broadcast, and he said about this position, white doesn't have a passed pawn while black does. And what he meant that it's not about how many pawns you have in rook endgames, but about how fast they are. And black's pawns are faster here, which gives him enough compensation for the pawn he is down. This game should end in a draw. But Nepomniachtchi did not play rook b8. After rook a5 from Anand, he played the move b4, and Anand said there was no need for going in kamikaze mode. Nepomniachtchi had an hour on the clock, but he just went nuts, according to Anand. Why is b4 a big blunder? Because of c takes b4, and now rook c2 as planned. The rooks on the 7th look very dangerous, but they don't do much, while the b pawn runs to queen. Let's see what happened. Anand played b3, rook b2 check. The king just hides on a1, there are no perpetuals. There's not much black can do with his rooks on the 7th. Rook takes g2, but that rook was just swapped. Rook takes, and there goes Bobby the b pawn, b5. It's not clear what Nepomniachtchi had missed. Rook g3 doesn't work here. Black is not quick enough. b6, rook takes h3, b7, rook f3, b8 queen, h3 comes too late. That doesn't work for black. The computer gives the great move, spectacular move, rook g4, which Anand was surprised about in the interview afterwards. He had not seen this move, but he quickly found a refutation. The idea is, of course, that you cannot take the rook. H takes d4, loses to h3, b6, h2, b7, h1, queen check, king b2, queen takes b7. Black is too fast in this variation. But there are different ways to refute the spectacular rook g4 move. Anand gave rook a4 in his analysis straight off the bat. Once he was hit with the rook g4 idea, he quickly saw rook a4, which indeed wins. But also king b2 is a good move. If you then play rook b4 behind the passed pawn, king c3 kicks the rook away straight away, and after rook e4, b6, white wins. In the game, Nepomniachtchi tried rook e2, Anand played b6, rook hurried back to e8, b7, rook b8, rook b5 protecting the pawn, f5, trying to create counterplay with his own passed pawn, but after the 40th move, king b2, Nepomniachtchi resigned. White is in the square of the f-pawn, the white king is in the square of the f-pawn, and is going to race up the board with his a-pawn. It's an easy win, the computer is on +6. Great win for Anand, his second win. He's undefeated in the tournament and he joins the leaders at the top of the table. The results of round 7, Svietler and Carlsen played a draw. Nakamura lost with white to Levon Aronian, who wins his third game in the event. So and Caruana made a draw, as did Vachier-Lagrave and Karyakin, and we saw Anand beat Nepomniachtchi. The standings after round 7, it's very crowded at the top. Vachier-Lagrave, Anand and Aronian all at +2. Carlsen lurking in the background, half a point behind. Caruana and Karyakin on 50%. Svietler on -1. And Nakamura, Nepomniachtchi and So on -2. Round 8 will be played on Thursday, the 10th of August, and I will be here afterwards to tell you what happened. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel. Please leave a message, and if you liked the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You also may want to check out my Chess to Progress channel. The link is in the description box, as well as the link to the playlist of Sinquefield Cup 2017, the earlier videos I've made on this tournament. This is Rick from Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.